You've got a brown bottle of hydrogen peroxide sitting under your bathroom sink right now, and you're using it for one thing, maybe cleaning a scrape on your kid's knee. That's it. That's the entire relationship most people have with one of the most useful bottles in their house. I've been cleaning professionally since I was 14, working alongside my dad, and before him, my grandfather. And if there's one product I've watched people waste the potential of more than any other, it's peroxide. It's sitting in medicine cabinets doing babysitting duty when it could be handling grout, laundry stains, cutting boards, produce, even your washing machine itself. Here's the part that gets me. People spend money every month on specialty sprays, a bathroom cleaner, a stain remover, a produce spray for the kitchen, maybe a mold spray for the shower, and a wood cleaner for the floors. That's 5 bottles, 5 different chemical mixes, and 5 different price tags. Most of them sit half-used in a cabinet because nobody wants to deal with the smell or the gloves or the ventilation bleach requires. Meanwhile, the actual dirty work, the stuff that builds up slow, like grout haze, cutting board bacteria, where the biofilm growing inside your washing machine drum doesn't get touched. Nobody sees biofilm. You don't notice your washer smells a little off until it smells a lot off. You don't notice the cutting board is holding on to salmonella residue from raw chicken 3 washes ago because it looks clean. That's the trap with a lot of household grime. It's invisible until it's a problem. A musty smell, a stain that won't lift anymore, mold creeping into grout lines that used to be white. By the time you notice, you're not doing light maintenance anymore. You're doing a deep, sometimes expensive fix. I've replaced grout for people that could have been saved with 15 minutes of the right treatment 6 months earlier. And most people don't reach for peroxide because they think of it as a first aid item, not a cleaner. That's a branding problem more than anything else. The chemistry doesn't care what aisle it was sold in. The reason it works is because of one simple reaction. It's H2O2, one extra oxygen atom stuck onto a water molecule, and that extra atom is unstable. It wants to break off. When it does, it releases oxygen, and that oxygen is what does the actual cleaning. It oxidizes stains, breaks down organic material, and kills a wide range of bacteria and mold spores by literally breaking apart their cell structure. I learned this the hands-on way, not from a textbook. My grandfather ran commercial cleaning contracts back in the 60s, and he used peroxide on hospital-adjacent buildings because bleach was too harsh on certain surfaces and left fumes that lingered in enclosed rooms. He'd dilute it, apply it, and let it foam. That foaming you see when you pour it on a cut, that's the same oxidation reaction happening on organic material, dead skin, blood, bacteria. On a countertop or a cutting board, it's doing the exact same thing to bacteria and food residue. The reason it disappears without leaving anything behind is that once the oxygen releases, you're left with plain water, no chemical film, no fumes hanging in the air. That matters more than people realize. I've walked into homes where someone bleached the bathroom the day before, and the fumes were still sharp enough to feel in your throat. Peroxide just doesn't do that. Here's something most people never think about, the reason it works better on some stains than others. Organic stains, blood, wine, grass, sweat, mold, and food respond to oxidation because they're built from proteins and pigments that break apart easily. Oil-based stains and mineral deposits like hard water spots don't respond the same way because there's no protein structure for the oxygen to attack. That's why peroxide is a powerhouse in some spots and does almost nothing in others. Knowing which is what separates someone who gets results from someone who's just pouring it around hoping. Common mistakes. Mistake 1. Using it straight, full strength, on everything. People assume if peroxide works, more must work better. Undiluted 3% peroxide on fabric can weaken fibers over time, and on colored fabric, it can bleach out spots exactly like bleach would. I've seen people ruin a good dark towel testing it on a stain without thinking about what it does to the dye. It's not as harsh as bleach, but it's not harmless either. Full strength, it's meant for spot treatment, not general application. Mistake 2. Mixing it with vinegar. This one drives me up the wall because it's all over the internet as some kind of super cleaner combo. When you mix peroxide and vinegar together in the same bottle, you create peracetic acid, which is a real industrial disinfectant, but it's also corrosive and can irritate your eyes, skin, and lungs at higher concentrations. It's not dangerous like mixing bleach and ammonia, but it's not the harmless double punch people think it is either. If you want to use both, use one, rinse, then use the other. Never combine them in one container, and definitely never in a spray bottle you're going to store. Mistake 3. Storing it in a clear bottle or storing it too long. Peroxide breaks down when it's exposed to light and air. That's why it comes in a brown bottle from the store. People transfer it into a clear spray bottle for convenience, and within a couple weeks it's basically just water. All the oxygen's gone, and so is the cleaning power. If you decant it, use a dark bottle and don't make more than you'll use in a week or two. I keep a small dark glass bottle for my go-to dilution and refill it fresh instead of storing a big batch. The solution: 18 ways to actually use it. I'm going to break this into stages because trying to remember 18 random tips doesn't stick. Group them by where you're using them and it actually sinks in. Stage 1. Kitchen work. Number 1. Cutting boards. After you cut raw meat, wash the board like normal, then pour peroxide straight onto the surface. Let it sit and foam for about 5 minutes, then rinse. That foaming action is getting into the microscopic grooves knife cuts leave behind, grooves soap and water alone don't reach. Number 2. Produce wash. Mix 1 part peroxide to 3 parts water in a spray bottle. Mist your fruits and vegetables, let sit 2 minutes, then rinse. It cuts down on surface bacteria and residue far better than a plain water rinse, and there's no soapy aftertaste like dish soap leaves if you use that instead, which people do and shouldn't. Number 3. Sponges. Soak your kitchen sponge in a bowl of peroxide for 10 minutes once a week. Sponges are one of the dirtiest objects in the average home because they stay damp and never fully dry, and that's exactly the environment bacteria wants. This resets it. Number 4. The fridge. Wipe shelves and drawers down with peroxide on a cloth. It handles mildew smell and light mold spots on rubber seals better than most fridge-specific sprays I've used, and again, no chemical smell left behind near your food. But here's the step people always skip, and it's the one that actually matters: rinsing your cutting board and produce properly afterward. Peroxide residue isn't toxic, but leaving it wet on wood boards can dry the surface out faster over time. Rinse, then dry it standing up, not flat. Stage 2. Bathroom and grout. Number 5. Grout lines. This is the one that saves people money. Mix peroxide with baking soda into a paste, apply directly to the grout with an old toothbrush, let it sit 15 minutes, then scrub. The paste holds the peroxide against the grout instead of it running off immediately, giving the oxidation time to actually work on the mold and mildew staining deep in the porous grout. Number 6. Toilet bowls. Pour a cup in, let sit 20 minutes before scrubbing. It handles hard water rings that regular toilet cleaner struggles with because those rings are often mineral plus organic buildup combined, and peroxide's hitting the organic half while breaking the bond that holds the ring together. Number 7. Shower curtains and liners. Soak in a bathtub with water and about 1.5 cups of peroxide for 30 minutes. This clears mildew spotting without the plastic degrading the way it can with bleach over repeated washes. Number 8. Mirrors and glass. Spray straight 3% peroxide. Wipe with a lint-free cloth. Streak-free, and it disinfects the surface at the same time, which glass cleaner alone doesn't do. Stage 3. Laundry. Number 9. Stain pre-treatment. Blood, sweat, grass stains, dab peroxide directly on before washing. Let sit 10 minutes, then wash. This is the single best use of peroxide I know, and it's the one my grandfather swore by for uniform stains that regular detergent gave up on. Number 10. Whitening whites without bleach. Add 1/2 cup to your wash cycle instead of bleach. It brightens without the yellowing bleach can cause over time on certain synthetic blends. Number 11. Removing musty smell from towels. Towels that stay damp too long develop that sour smell from bacteria buildup in the fibers. Add 1 cup of peroxide to a hot wash cycle and it clears that smell out at the source instead of just masking it with more detergent. Pro tip here, and this is something almost nobody tells you. Run an empty hot wash with 2 cups of peroxide through your washing machine itself once a month. That musty smell people blame on their towels is often coming from biofilm built up inside the drum and rubber gasket. I've had people replace an entire washing machine over a smell that a monthly peroxide flush would have solved for pennies. Stage 4. Around the house. Number 12. Mold on walls or in corners of a bathroom. Spray full strength, let sit 1 hour, then wipe clean. For light surface mold, this handles it without the harsh fumes bleach puts into a small enclosed bathroom. Number 13. Houseplants. A capful in your watering can helps prevent root rot by oxygenating the soil and killing off certain fungal growth that thrives in overwatered, low-oxygen soil. Number 14. Pet stains and odor. On carpet, blot the area, apply diluted peroxide, blot again. It breaks down the enzymes in pet urine that carpet cleaners often only mask. Number 15. Cloudy glassware and dishwasher buildup. Run an empty dishwasher cycle with a cup of peroxide in the detergent slot to clear mineral film and light mold growth around the rubber seal. Number 16. Cutting through soap scum on shower doors. Spray, wait 5 minutes, wipe. The oxidation breaks down the fatty acid buildup in soap scum faster than most glass cleaners, because those cleaners aren't built to oxidize, just dissolve. Number 17. Cleaning garden tools and pruning shears. Wipe blades down with peroxide between uses on diseased plants. It disinfects the blade so you're not spreading fungal or bacterial disease from one plant to the next, something I picked up from doing yard maintenance alongside interior jobs early in my career. Number 18, and this is the one almost nobody knows, cleaning a fish tank's decorations and equipment. Full-strength peroxide on tank decorations, air stones, and filter parts, soaked for a few minutes, then rinsed extremely thoroughly, clears algae buildup that scrubbing alone won't fully remove. You have to rinse this one obsessively before it goes back in the tank, because fish are sensitive to any residue. But, done right, it's the fastest way to clear stubborn algae I've found. That last one surprises almost everyone I mention it to, and it's usually the one people come back and tell me actually worked when nothing else did. That's 18, but honestly, once you start using peroxide this way, you'll find your own uses for it too. It's one of those products where the more you understand what it's actually doing chemically, the more situations you'll realize it fits. If you tried any of these, especially the washing machine flush or the grout paste, I want to know how it went. Drop a comment and tell me your biggest cleaning headache right now, the one you haven't been able to crack. I read through these and pull ideas for future videos straight from what you're dealing with in your own homes. If you're dealing with grout that's gone past the point peroxide alone can save, I've got a full video on deep grout restoration that walks through what to do when it's stained past the surface level. That one's a natural next step from what we covered today. Subscribe if you want more of this. Real methods, tested on real jobs, not recycled off some list somewhere. I'll see you in the next one.